a surprise. This is HammerTime. Every Friday between 9:30 and 11, we bring the legends to you. We have one of our legends with us this morning, Rocky Dawuni. This show is brought to you by Gandu Cosmetics. Rule Your Beauty is our campaign. Your BO16 hair relaxer, style up. We have cleanse hand sanitizer. Gandu Cosmetics in bit my mouth. You may be out in Saudi or elastic na sham. Kama. Na said you know Transformations Beauty Salon and also a we can asabe bio utinwi no center bomb Israel for yes utinwi ma wona ho wanim opa bibia ye ho wake up frontal bibia mrante kama pa ho a betie si ho ama na se the music kind no yabo hu de hura wa bekensa. Rocky, good morning.
Yes, how are you doing, Hammer?
I'm good, and you?
Well, you know, I'm having an amazing time. You know, as I was telling you earlier on, you know, really arriving in Kumasi and just really the energy. I mean, Accra is great, but you know, because of the Christmas time traffic is picking up, so everybody's getting ready, you know, but just coming and landing in Kumasi and getting the welcome and having great conversations with friends and reconnecting with people. I had an incredible sleep, so I woke up this morning with a big smile on my face.
Yeah. And thanks so much for honoring our invitation. It's a great honor to have you here.
Thank you. Well, you know, I have been back in the country, you know, for, you know, a little over a month, you know, but it's also that I have moved fully back to Ghana.
Right.
You know, so what happens is that I just take the opportunity to travel and do, you know, what my other callings are outside, and then when that is completed, then I return back. But since I came about a month ago I've had the opportunity of going back to New York for a project that I am writing music for an off-Broadway play that is premiering next year in New York. So we went and did the initial premiere, and then I was back in the country, and then I traveled to Nairobi to where I launched an initiative with our second lady, you know, in Nairobi for Clean Cooking Alliance. And then, you know, I was back again for family and friends. And I think right now I'm poised to really get into the spirit of the year of return and also get into the spirit of the holidays and Christmas, you know. So there's nothing more I can ask for at this point, you know. I'm really content and happy, yeah.
And we also say a big thank you to Madam C and Africa One Media for making this thing happen. And yes, you mentioned Nairobi. There's one video about Nairobi, but there's this guy I met yesterday. Hey, Papa no tree into Fafra. I met this gentleman from Nairobi, and by name Dr. Razak Jesse, aka Binji, former economic tutor at TI Amas Kumasi, and currently working with African Population and Health Research Center, a Pan-African UN affiliated research institute in Nairobi, Kenya. Now I'm so I'll show you a program on YouTube.
Okay.
Now he's like, let me read here. I'll say warm regards to Rocky, that I do follow him very much, and people at Kenya adore him for his music, especially Nakupenda.
Yes, Nairobi Nakupenda, which is a song that I wrote. What happened was that, you know, after, I'm sure everybody, you know, once you have, you know, you can remember a little bit back during, you know, Kenya had elections with two powerful political opponents. You know, you had Kenyatta, and then you also had Raila Odinga. And then after the elections, there was like a huge disagreement, and then the people rose up against each other. So then there was kind of a stalemate for a while. And I think through the works of, you know, some of our luminary leaders, you know, both Kofi Annan and then also President Kufuor, the follow-up, you know, several years later, when they decided that, you know, the elections were finally going to be held. I mean, what was happening even was that Kenyatta was being sent to the international ICC court and all of that kind of. So there was all these divisions that were becoming very entrenched and dividing, the Kikuyus on one side and also the Luos on the other side, which are the two main tribes there who had also, but the political parties had kind of really formed around these tribes. So you can't even talk about political parties without talking about tribal differences there. So when they finally decided that there was they were going to be able, the UN, created a pathway for the follow-up elections, I was invited to go into Kenya by the Kenyan Red Cross to come and work as part of a peace building initiative. So I got into Kenya, organized and connected with a lot of the top stars of the country, and we traveled around to we held various workshops. We went into various neighborhoods, especially Kibera, which had been like one of the biggest hotspots for a lot of the violence. And eventually we were able to position a lot of the artists and a lot of the community leaders to work together for peace across political, ethnic lines. And then as I was doing all this work too, I was feeling something too that I remember that when I came back to Ghana, I had been saying that was a big issue, was that Kenya was so divided by the politics. It was so deep. The tribal differences were so deep. I mean, I know that Ghana, we have our issues with tribes and politics, but I saw in Kenya a kind of toxic, aspect of it. And I could totally see how that really reflected in the political stalemate. Because, you would do something and somebody say, why are you acting like a Luo? It was so deep. So I felt that as also somebody who was there for peace building purposes and as a musician and as a social activist, I wanted to do something through music to create a piece that I felt would be instrumental in bringing people in Kenya together. Something that was agreed on. And I knew that one thing that everybody agreed on was really the beauty of Nairobi, was really the incredible cosmopolitan, all-encompassing nature of their capital. That one, when I started talking about it, everybody agreed and the politics faded away. So I was like, okay, then that means that I have to do a song that really reflected this element of togetherness and unity.
That was the Nairobi song.
That was the Nairobi I Love You song,
I love the video.
Yes. And then the video too, so when that finished, we shot the video, and if anybody who has seen the video on YouTube too, you could see that all the prominent business leaders, community leaders, Red Cross, everybody made a cameo. Top stars, everybody made a cameo in the video. And it eventually became a song too that, ended up on my Branches of the Same Tree album, which eventually was a Grammy nominated album, So it was all through, recognizing the power of music and also being sensitive to the needs of community and understanding how to leverage that power to uphold not only one person, but everybody that made is, that is an aspect of that community to foster togetherness and harmony and unity. And I think that has always been my message.
Did you have this nomination before this album, the Branches of the Same Tree?
No.
The Branches of the Same Tree got you the nomination.
Yeah, got me the nomination.
And the UN appointment came when?
Well, the UN appointment was, I have always had work with UN. So my UN work started years and years and years ago.
You've been chopping money for long.
No, UN, they don't. They chop money for there. That'd be the problem. It gives you profile and clout and opportunities to connect and leverage. When I started out from here, people who remember, I used to have a yearly concert called the Rocky Dawuni Independence Splash, that was held, at Labadi Beach every year. And during that concert, I always did partnerships with, I partnered with the Carter Center to work on guinea worm eradication. I work with Ghana AIDS Commission, HIV AIDS, HIV/AIDS, shall I say, advocacy. I worked with UNICEF on promoting, girl child education and clean water. And, at that time too, I brought in artists like Samini or Bo and all those people, to be part of this in terms of, because I felt that, any artist, that has a platform needed to expand their platform to focus on stuff that could be important to development of the community. So I always collaborated with all these organizations. And then, a few years later too, I was invited to join Product Red, which was an initiative launched by Bono. Bono, yeah. So I was involved with Product Red, and I was when the Product Red was making a donation to the Ghanaian government of about $7 million for HIV/AIDS medication thing. I was actually one of the emissaries that was sent to Ghana to come and do the announcement here. And I think that was Professor Mills' time. So throughout those years, I'd been involved, and then the UN Foundation also invited me when they launched the Clean Cooking Alliance, which was launched by Secretary Hillary Clinton. So immediately that was launched, I was invited, myself, Julia Roberts, Jose Andres, who's also one of the most famous, Julia Roberts, the actress, and Jose Andres, one of the most famous chefs in the world, to be the global ambassadors for it. And then eventually, too, our foreign minister, Hannah Tete, at that time was invited to be on the Leadership Council. And then now we have Her Excellency Samira Baumia, who's also a global ambassador for that initiative. So we collaborate a lot on that. And that is also under the auspices of United Nations Foundation. So then I was also invited by the Kennedy family to also be on the Leadership Council for the RFK Human Rights, which I still serve as with President Clinton and a whole lot of other people. I sit on that board, that Leadership Council too, in an advisory honorary position. And last year, I was approached by the UN to be the United Nations Goodwill Ambassador for Environment for the continent of Africa. So that was launched at a big event that happened in Nairobi last year, and that appointment started last year. So in that capacity too, as UN Environment Goodwill Ambassador, that's about 1 year old right now, and I've been doing a lot of work. I was actually at the General Assembly recently in that capacity, and it's been really an amazing run so far.
I'm interested in the current role that the UN has given you.
Yes,
and I would like us to go a bit in tree so that Kumasi now will understand the environment.
Yes.
Because Kumasi, Ashanti region, is green.
Yes,
we have a lot of natural resources.
Yes,
we have gold, we have timber, we have all that.
Yes.
Now, Galamsey, Kosu, Yinsu, no. Your role, no, dear now. Robin, I'll play on this area.
Just say, I didn't say the most important thing. So, see, who say yam mayeni amba asase a nyankopon de aboye na ade amaye na say ye protect your water resources, na say ye enua all the trees, no, so say ye can say ye green, but most of the big trees are very important, most of those trees have been cut away,
yeah.
And teachers say our situation is very, very serious, you see. Oshe, your friend is saying so Galamsey ni all the mining that is going on to who say there's a lot of mercury omo you see ade hohoro gold na most of the time so we hu nsuo water wa na ya divert nsuo no na say ya dredge the water bed in terms of getting the gold, and then this water source so in the long run no na be fa pipe mu a ye nyina ekosa nsuo no nom no that nsuo no mercury ni all these other impurities are in the long run it will lead to sickness and ultimately untimely death, poisoning, a slow poisoning. And just say as say industry way ye push ya ye say niema way a sika amanfo nye sika no na say nsuo so aye no mo aye most important for enkwano. We are destroying all our water bodies. There was even a report that came and said that at the rate just say fresh water no, just say probably in the next decade or two we'll have to import fresh water for our country,
which is crazy.
So enti any generation I will say who say sadly we will say yes put a stop. We have to figure out a way. Now me so just say the thing is say menye obi a meka say because we a problem in internet say we don't say actually say we attack you with that kind of way. No, that's not how you do, because the only thing is to solve a problem you need everybody, both those who are proposing the solution, both those who are culpable in that, to all sit down and figure out a way out. I was so say near say poison here to nsuomu. Sometimes you can say galamsey, you can say, some poor boys or more maybe gold mining town or more hustle to make money. Let's say obia diumenia komuso at the expense of maybe other organized big
the small mining
small
scale miners.
Yes, small scale miners, but ube connect to say big scale miners no say poisoning and this way air costume. To say it's not necessarily pointing hands at and finding culprits.
Right.
It's about all of us understanding the gravity of the situation and making, shall I say, real attempts to know that there is no amount of money, just say, will be worth water. So Nsio is worth more than any gold.
Oh yes.
Because if you don't have clean water, can you drink gold?
Never.
And if you go to how many of us now, meaning I'm maybe just say, where we go? When do you see it? So it's important for our national development and it's important for our economic development, but we have to make sure that it is not at the expense of a resource which we can never create more.
Yeah.
So having clean water, just say it's one of the future of the world. Even according to a lot of predictions right now, the future wars of the world are not going to be fought based upon minerals, and it's going to be fought based upon water resources. And if you don't control your water, your source of water, future, the countries that control water, clean water sources are going to be the ones that are going to have the real power. And we have to have the ability to see into that future and make the decisions right now to protect not only ourselves but also our future generations.
Okay.
There's a way not generations people who are going to also be Ghanaians of the future to protect this. And then the environment, so you call in Ria, say you me Accra say menenam Accra on a hot day obeko omo nka so mu twitwa omo fie nua no say eye hia no mo dwane akọ obi fie a edua ho no mo nyina wa akọta ase for shade. So our tree resources too, which is responsible for rain, and the rain is responsible for our agriculture, and tree also protects our environment too in terms of carbon dioxide, clean air. Near much say it's good, important for health. All these trees are right now, we've lost a lot of our original forest covers, and there has not, although there are initiatives right now to by forest department and so many other organizations to plant trees. It is not enough to be able to stem the tide of climate change, which is happening right now, not only globally, but also affecting every country and everybody around the world. And the importance of planting trees and protecting the tree cover is of great importance and urgency. And for me, just say, amount for mine soon, I make us ask me. And you'll be associated with what I say. Now, amount for mine, now, what of you, your country? What are you doing?
Exactly.
So I feel that for me, Ghana can take leadership in this new way of thinking. Ghana can be the African country that protects its environment. Right now, there's conversation about Etiwa Forest. The source of clean water. Bauxite. There's a source of drinking water for 5 million people.
Wow.
5 million people. Clean water. If this source of yensio demand some other foreign power, that's in case we have a disagreement with a foreign power or control, isn't that a security risk?
It is.
And then also, and no one say, since you know ya bottle near San Thomas, ya tonnes is sika, ya koji and yanisicano, since you know, etrias isicano. So, because some of those resources, they are priceless. There's no price you can put to it. having a source, having the biodiversity of that place is priceless. So, and to me, my whole thing is say, I don't believe say we go onto places and start shouting and accusing people. We just want to make sure that our country makes the right decision and our country protects some valuable assets that in the long run it's integral for our development and our sustenance and also our progress.
Nice one. This is Pure 95.7 on HammerTime. The voice you are hearing, if you just join us, is Rocky Dawuni, Grammy Award nominee. Branches of the same tree.
Yes.
It was about soul, high life, Afrobeat, reggae. You're a reggae artist.
Yes.
Where from the high life? You did high life.
Well, the thing is, you can't be a Ghanaian and not have high life in you.
Right.
So that one, dear, is I was in love with high life before I met reggae.
Okay, growing up,
it was my nature. It was, when I was a little child, from the Ampofwejes to the Ampedus to the J.A. Adolfos, to the Safohini Janis, to the KJCs. This was the music that my mother was playing for me as a little child. This was the music and then growing up, music of, from the Kodren trees to the Amachi the days and all of that stuff was all part of my growth. So, reggae was also a musical form that became part of who I was because I believed in the power of music to make change. I believe that music can have something stronger than just entertainment.
Okay.
It can inspire you. It can also become a means and an avenue to, bring concrete conversations. And reggae music was already doing that through the works of Bob Marley, Black Uhuru, Peter Tosh, Burning Spear, Buju Banton, all of those. Reggae music was already doing that. And for me, that was a natural attraction to reggae music.
I see.
But my nature, my African nature and Ghanaian nature was based upon high life and our traditional music. And it was only a matter of time, just say, as an artist you can never become a better copy of somebody else's music.
Right.
You can only become a good representation of who you are. So I knew that reggae was an inspirational music for me, but at the same time I was crafting what my sound was. So it was through the progress of different albums, the high life elements were always present, because if even you listen to my reggae music, my melodies were driven and inspired from high life music. And I think that after I had gained a lot of traction in my career, the Branches of the Same Tree album became an album that was a fully realized global sound that integrated all my inspirations from high life to reggae music, from soul to traditional music. Traditional music from Nyum Kronin, all these styles of music I listened to. They were all part of the music of Fela, everything. High life music was, and then soul and sukus and all that. Those were all part of it. So this album became the album that fully realized that, and I think that was what was a game changer for this album to catch the eyes of the world, catch the eyes of the Recording Academy, catch the eyes of music aficionados around the world, for them to feel that this, in the history of the Grammys, in the reggae category, there's only been 2 Africans that have had opportunity of being nominated.
Been?
Yes.
As before you?
No, before me, there was only one person.
Who was?
That was Alpha Blondy.
Alpha Blondy, okay.
That was been nominated.
Right.
And then I was the second one that was nominated. But that's it.
So far
in the history
of African
reggae music. Yes. Yeah, wow. So far.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And so for me too, I saw it also as a validation of being a Ghanaian artist and believing in innovation, because in Kanyese, those high life elements come in and it would not have had that distinction and attention.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell everybody, that you can never be a great copy of someone else. You can only be an incredible and true representation of only you yourself.
Now, you said something, say, say through reggae music, now be sending certain messages across. It looks like most powerful reggae artists are a bit political. Why is it so?
I won't say they are political. I'll say that, anytime you talk about social messages, people say you are political.
Okay.
Because the context of politics always talks about development. But I will think that you can be able to talk about development and talk about bettering the lives of people and talk about being concerned about issues on the ground without being put in the context of as a political message.
Mostly with reggae artists, mostly.
Well, the thing is that
Alpha Blondy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Alpha Blondy had, I'll say, it was social messages, and also socio-political messages. Because if you look at the situation in a country and you feel that the situation is not really representative of the aspirations of the country, I feel that reggae artists have been bold enough to articulate that. The boldness of having, because the music itself is about trying to bring goodness, trying to do the right, trying to address issues that promote hatred and division. You try to zone in on those issues and articulate them or bring attention to them. So I think that when you wade into that sector, people start, even Bob Marley had those issues, Peter Tosh had those issues.
Because definitely messages will go against the government or it will be for the opposition.
Yeah, but
but
I think the government and the opposition shouldn't be afraid if they are trying to work for the betterment of a society, and you have voices too that are trying to work for the betterment of society. It's only when you feel that a certain message that it's about elevation of a society and promoting a society, if an artist is articulating it in a way that it's profound and you feel that that is a threat, then I feel that you have defeated the purpose of what you are in it for, because you get into the arena of politics to try and become an instrument of development for your people. If you are in it for any other reason, then you are in the wrong system.
Yeah, and with the mesre say wakaka we nyina achi me hwe Nairobi video, me hwe Beats of Zion, me hwe Elevation. You have to do something for Kumasi. You have to do a song for Kumasi.
Hey, Hammer, now they are too right on the spot.
Live, I mean, you have to promise us, do something for Kumasi, because Kumasi, we have rich stuff.
Yes.
Your baby say Ashtown, Asafo, Brokrom, Banton, Brono Bibri Oha. Ubomu say yes, you are Zoye.
Yes.
We have the lake, we have other places. I think we can do something.
Well, the thing that Kumasi represents a very powerful symbol of the traditional culture of our country, and also the seat of the Ashanti Hene, the seat of the Ashanti Kingdom. Which when you travel anywhere around the world, when you talk about Ghana and culture, so many people have heard about the culture that is incubated right here in Kumasi. And for me too, I am a promoter of culture.
Right.
I believe that our cultural identity is actually the most important part of our national identity, and then also in a broader sense too, all of Ghana is made up of so many diverse tribes with cultures and everything. So to promote our collective culture is a very important thing to our national health, and also promoting unity and fostering and strengthening the union that we call Ghana. So elevating and coming to shed light on Kumasi is a natural thing for me to do. But my thing is that, Hammer, that I haven't done a concert in Kumasi yet. So for me, that is going to be the key thing to come to Kumasi and do a proper Rocky Dawuni concert here, that we can be able to bring, the city everybody together to really celebrate the cultural heritage that Kumasi represents, not only as a symbol of culture for Ghana, not only a symbol of culture for Africa, but a symbol of culture too for the indigenous, the power of indigenous culture to coexist too with modern culture, and then also an excellence of an African city that represents so many dimensions. Because you come to Kumasi, it's like you have it's a Ghanaian incubator.
Yeah.
Every culture, every tribe, is represented here. I mean, when I was going to school in Tamale a long time, I think I mentioned that story to you, that we used to always take the bus and come to Kumasi, and then my uncle had a shop at Swami. So, so we'll come and spend like 2-3 days before we take the bus to the northern region, and we usually, and yes, I was asking where Abu station. So that time they for what on Chine, Oba had one. I just say what for night bus, not just say all the way to the north, and then that was schooling. So Kumasi was always a place that I was, coming, interacting, and then there's a huge northern population presence here, huge Zongo here, so and also apart from that, to all the other tribes and of Ghana to are very, 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 very well represented here. So I think that coming to Kumasi, somebody said, Accra is an international town, but it's nobody's town to some extent. But I know that Accra is the seat of the Ghans, but at the same time, it's so internationalized.
Yeah, it's like New York.
It's like New York. But Kumasi, there is the foundation and strength of the culture. Yes. So coming here and doing an event and concert that will shed light and highlight that, and at the same time to provide us an opportunity to really celebrate the diversity that makes this town a beacon, not only of I'm using town, this city. A beacon not only of the excellence of Ghanaian culture, but the excellence of African culture to the rest of the world.
Now, for you to move back to Ghana, it means a lot, because living abroad will be able to say and there are great opportunities, and for you to have a Grammy nomination and UN projects and all. There is this song that brought you to not the limelight, but then you hit among 41, and that was way back 98, 99, 2000 in Ghana, right?
Yes. And
that was the first time I met you.
Yeah, Crystal TV.
And that was Crystal TV days. I still have the cassettes.
Okay.
Maybe Shadam the actual, just to surprise him.
Yes.
I may keep you at over 20 years, because I never knew I would still meet you one day, like we just met. And you perform on stage this song with Samini, and Samini was featured on Branches
of the Same Tree. Yeah. So-called Black Star. Yes.
There's something about Samini that I would like us to talk about.
Yes.
Because it looks like we're in a relationship, we are tight. Yes, you're live on Pure 95.7 on HammerTime.
Oh, yeah.
International mixer.
Yes. Serious.
What is it about Samini? Because that album, Branches of the Same Tree, I think he was the first Ghanaian collaboration.
Yes, that was the first.
The album.
Yeah, that's the first Ghanaian collaboration. Well, I've known Samini for a long time, and even I was telling you about the UN initiatives. When Samini started, I had him on the Independence Splash that I did, the Labadi Beach, big concert. So Samini was one of the first artists that I had kind of, I had a bow and a whole lot of other people, but Samini joined me on that. And then during that process too, I was doing a campaign at that time for clean water for UNICEF.
Okay.
So I brought him into that initiative and traveled with him to the north to all these places that had, guinea worm problems and all that, So we've had a friendship for a long time, and I've been a big respecter of his career and his trajectory too, in terms of as an artist. So, it's also a friendship that has gone, over the years. And then when I was working on the Branches of the Same Tree album, before that, I had we had done a song called Clean Water.
Okay.
Which was something the song that I was doing for UNICEF.
Right.
So when I wrote that song, I brought in the studio, he came and did his part, and then that song was used for the campaign.
Okay.
So that was the first one, but it wasn't a commercially released song. It was more
for a project.
Yeah, for a project. And then, so when I was, years later, when I was recording this album, and I was like, okay, this album, I don't have any features on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to start also getting into the element of also having other artists on my songs, because the previous albums all never had any features, so then I found the right song.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, you can think of featuring, but you also have to be presented with the right song. So I had written, Black Star, and I was just working on that, and then I was like, okay, maybe, this song Black Star is about Ghana. Mm-hmm. It's about the importance of the representation of using music to represent the essence, the ethos, the energy of this our beautiful country, and being a reggae artist too, I was like, okay, it would be really amazing to also have, a sort of dance hall dimension to the song, to create a much more diverse approach to the song by having a dancehall part of the song to really make it a fully realized reggae song, by the same time to appealing to the different dimensions of reggae music.
Okay.
And there was nobody that I could look, in terms of artists that I felt could do this properly and execute it on the level that I felt should be done, And so Samini and I spoke about it, and it was funny because we spoke about it, and then I left, and I was in the US working on the record and finishing up the record. And then one day he hits me up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in Los Angeles."
Wow.
And I was just like, "Really? You are in Los Angeles?" Because I'm actually in the studio finishing the album right now, and the track that I've been talking about, I'm just actually working on that track. So the following day, I had a car go find him where he was, pick him up, bring him into the studio. He got into the studio, we vibed in and tracked the song, and it was the only collaboration song on that album. Yeah, on that album, and he is one of Ghana's brightest musicians too, so it was really, for me, it was great to acknowledge that too on that record.
At what point I decided say you relocate to Ghana?
Oh, Ghana, they say.
So, it looks like you are settling in.
Just say, I didn't say, no matter what the reason is. I went there to learn, to open channels for Ghanaian music. So at that time, when we were doing all this, there was no internet.
Exactly.
But we had to do what's it called, step-by-step combat. One-on-one. French speaking countries. The French speaking countries, Alpha Blondie, easy. Because Angelique Kidjo nominee, they got it easy.
Easy as in the government?
Easy as those institutions.
Okay.
To make sure that all start your honor, and if you have a certain quality, immediately now there's channels to pipe you right to France.
Okay.
French record labels, French booking agencies adopt you, and all of a sudden you are global. You cut through all of that stuff. We, the English-speaking countries, we don't have that. Nigeria is lucky because Nigeria has the numbers.
Yeah.
Until they compensate that with the numbers. So Ghana, we are only 25 million people. So the impact that a Ghanaian artist you can be able to have globally, before the advent of the internet, you had to, Osibisa had to go into England and hustle there to get those same connections now. Our French-speaking counterparts will get it right from their backyard. They had to go there to do all those connections of years of playing for somebody to come and see you and then sign you to a record label. So it is a Mimi Stati, and also they say Ghana was not the producers. I was at Legon
Yeah.
And to me, you see almost me weekend, you know, producers here, Madame for one of my closest friend, Nat Brew brother, Yofi Brew. And then I say, Monsieur, Charlie, I won't connect with Nat Brew, I won't connect with Rexoma. So I was connecting with all these artists. Just say, as a young startup artist who's like looking at these idols, trying to get the connection to get the right producer to help me put my music out. And I met so many of the producers at that time, you know, I mean, I don't want to mention it because I'll put them on the spot. Yeah. You know, but Obia catch me and say, Rocky, just say you have good voice and I think you have good music. But Ghana Hanmodi, just say reggae na obono. A bad thing, pa say, you know. So that was what I was hearing. So, and then for me I was not ready to accept and give up. And I knew that, say, if you want to make something happen, you have to figure out every way to make that happen. And I knew that I had to go and find the labels that would sign me. I had to go to the environment where I could play the music to get the attention. And I had to go to where I could have the right connections to do that. So that's one of the things that propelled me to travel to Los Angeles, which was the hub of music globally. And in Los Angeles, I created a club that became one of the most popular clubs for African music, and eventually became the club that everybody from Femi Kuti to Obia Ebeye show or US, almost press launch, you know, Afro-Funky Club. Afro-Funky.
Wow.
So, and teacher said, when I created that in America, because America, so there was that same discrimination. I was trying to play everywhere. They're like, oh, the bookers won't book me. And I'm saying, okay, the strategy would be that I have to create my own power in this place. Right. So when I started the club, you know, I started doing my own concerts there.
Okay.
And by the second year, I was doing sold out concerts in the middle of Los Angeles, so all this music, you know, big man music, everybody was hearing of this club. Everybody came to the club, from Stevie Wonder to Prince, Obia, everybody. Even our former Minister of Tourism, Jacob Bilamte, when he came to the US, he came to visit, you know, to come and see what was happening because he had heard of it. He came to visit over there. Kofi Amoah, you know, came to visit. And even one of Sarkodie's first trip to the US, you know, people pointed him to Afro-Funky, and he came and did an event in Afro-Funky. But at that time, even I wasn't there. So that was the first time, you know, people were telling me, oh, there's this new artist in Ghana, Charlie, be serious, you know. And so Sarkodie came to Afro-Funky, Kwaukwesi came to do an event at Afro-Funky, you know. Obo, you know, everybody came to. So for me, once I was able to use that platform to project myself in America and start, you know, in terms of the music was started getting the attention of the labels, started getting the attention of booking agencies, and then doing tours of all of that. I felt there was a time where I needed to bring all those ideas and inspirations back home, because, you know, you can't live forever in somebody's country. And then right now you can only see that what's going on in America right now, the leadership.
Yeah. And
even before the leadership, no, imagine, say, even our brothers and sisters, African Americans, Black Americans, they've been part of, America was built on their back.
Yeah.
They came as slaves. They found their freedom through, desegregation and abolition. And then they had to deal with a long term of, post-slavery, the segregation, till the Martin Luther King era, when they were able to have a lot of these laws broken down. Till this time, when they've contributed so much to America, then at this point, you know, they are still questioned. They are still treated like they are aliens in a country that they've given blood and every piece of themselves to. So, no matter what it is, no, Africa, just say, when it comes to black people, Africa is our home. We can go there and acquire every knowledge and every inspiration and every vision, but you can't put your future and build your future over there, because in the long run, you know, in America, you come, you know, if you one day know, but not just say any honor will be another person, they won't even remember your, you know, what your history was or your legacy was. So you go there to acquire all those elements, and then you can be able to. So that is what inspired me to come and be back. I'd always been back.
Okay.
But now, in terms of my footprint being very well planted in our soil and working from here and projecting from here, and also it's a time of great return. If even you look in the Bible, the Israelites, when they were, they had an opportunity to go back to the promised land. And I feel that is the era in which we're living in for black people right now. And me being also an African that has traveled into the diaspora and understand how the diaspora is, it's important for me to bring that knowledge base to really help us be able to engage with all those elements that are coming right now, and seeing Africa as the next space of opportunity. I understand them very, very, very well. And I think that knowledge can be instrumental for us in terms of engaging, to recraft and remold the new emerging Africa.
You see, you are more than just a musician. From the way you talk, your knowledge, the exposure, you've traveled far. Year of Return, has any agency, a Ghanaian agency like Ministry of Arts and Culture, Ministry of Tourism, have they reached out to you?
I'm telling you, my brother, nobody has approached me about anything to do with Year of Return. Nobody has.
A Grammy Award nominee?
Nobody
UN
has.
ambassador?
Nobody has.
This is
crazy. Nobody has approached me.
And even this Year of Return, personally,
yes.
Shatta Wale kind of baby say Fasobi and Emma. So, and I agree with him, because Year of Return, it looks like Ghana we were not prepared to do this, because the artists come, they greet the president, they go to Cape Coast Castle, sometimes they come to Menchia, go back to America, boom.
I wouldn't say Fasoni. That's just. I think that's a very
immediate emphasis.
Yeah. The thing is that I think it could have been done better. Say, artists like myself, personalities like myself, who have years and years and years been talking about this same issue outside there, about diaspora coming and engaging Africa, elevating Africa everywhere, flying the flag of Ghana everywhere. Before any artist even came to that, I was on the international scene. Mm-hmm. On the biggest stages, collaborating with the biggest artists, being the first Ghanaian to be nominated for a Grammy in the history of our music.
Exactly.
And even the dedication, when I was nominated, I dedicated that thing to our legends, Nana Ampedu and all those people who inspired me. At the same time, I also said when I was nominated that this is just the beginning, because this is only people's glimpse into how incredible of a talent pool that Ghana has. Mm-hmm. So you only see me, you think, say you see all. Mm-hmm. Make you come Ghana, come see Charlie, artists of several levels where we get that plenty. So I had always used my position not for myself, but as a means to also elevate my country and project my country. So when it comes to the Year of Return, I think the concept is amazing.
Exactly.
I think the concept has gotten foothold in all of the diaspora. People are talking about Ghana, Year of Return, but sometimes it's one thing talking about a big idea, and sometimes too it's about seeing, how big is the idea. Because when you talk of Year of Return, Charlie, the diaspora and SU,
it is.
You're talking millions and millions of, black people who right now are feeling the pressures of America, who right now are looking for a savior to rise out of the continent of Africa and embrace them. Not a savior that will only talk about that only in terms of rhetoric, but in terms of deeds. So we have to also, as Ghanaians, see that if we have made that proclamation, we have to do the groundwork and the framework to. But the thing is that it's a daunting task. So it's not something that you can achieve all the things that you want to do in the immediate.
The year of return is in Accra. It's not in Kumasi.
Yes, because the year of return, if we are having people return, they have to return to experience the culture of Africa.
Exactly.
Not some popular culture. Let me go to some nightclub here.
Nightclubs.
Yeah. Mamin call one festival. Biwa hase namin call. You see we this festival where music. There's min call Cape Coast. What of Kumasi? What of the North? If you're talking of even slave trade, all the ways from the Salaga slave market to all of those places that have been instrumental. Year of return should be a year of renewal, because return will complete circle. No?
Yeah.
And to complete second, I was so called chichi amount for all those areas, to Kumasi, to the all of that, to the coast, to the castles. There's a spiritual part of it, and that spiritual part is not, let's say, based upon, let's say, a Christian or Muslim, or it's based upon an African spiritual part of this whole equation. Because before all those religions came, Africans, we knew God.
Yeah, we knew.
And every, not to get into this conversation about our traditions, we have to understand, say, our traditions is not necessarily saying our tradition is our identity. The reason why the Indians are powerful right now is because Indians, they stick together.
Right.
They have an identity. They have their religion. They have their religion, which they all believe in. Although you go to India, there's divisions. I mean, if you look in the news right now, they're even fighting. Muslims, Christians, Muslims, Hindus are, there's a problem going on. But at the bottom, and if something happens outside, they all band together to engage it. So I think that our culture, the diversity of our culture, is the beauty that will allow us to be able to create a medium to engage all our brothers and sisters who are not only coming back just because they want to go and pay a visit to, let's say, some slave fort that they were taken away, which is an imagery of pain, an imagery of subjugation. They should come to an imagery of power, an imagery of renewal, an imagery of pride, and that is our culture. So our cultural institutions, right now, should have been elevated. There should have been a big, huge event in Accra that will have all the dancers, culture of Ghana showcased on the highest level. Every media from around the world brought to come and see the excellence of Ghanaian culture, with our people from all around the world, the diaspora, seeing this for the first time. Have we ever seen even our dancers being put on the biggest stage, our culture being put on the biggest stage with the best light and the best, media showcasing on that to show the new Africa that is our real identity? Every time we're trying to talk about Africa, then we go take some old version of some Obroni in culture, then we mix some, say that is what Africa is. That's not what Africa is. The white people who are coming here, they're not coming to experience something they already know.
No.
They are coming to experience something they don't know. Something that is only us. Something that our traditional foods, our culture, our people, our languages. So there's one language, English language, all around the world. But Uba Africa, Chale Ghana and Kwabes and 90-something languages were. Just say, who say, Nyankopo Ankasa Obo Wiaseno, he took his time for Africa to create the diversity. One day, it's a world, anything, you only have to come to Africa, because the divine research and development has already been done here.
Anna yenso yenhuso eshe. Anna yatiha. Anna, yes. Okay. Let's take a break, and this is HammerTime on Pure 95.7. Rocky Dawuni, the legend. Yes, as you know, HammerTime is full of surprises and exclusives. Rock.
Yes.
This video was shot in India.
Yes.
Why India? And you've been in India for some time.
What happened was that I did a collaboration with an Indian artist, an Indian composer.
Right.
He's also a Grammy-winning composer.
Okay.
And one of the only few in India. I think they have about 3 or 4 in that big country of, close to, getting to 1 billion people.
Okay.
They have only 3, 4 Grammy, and he was one of them.
Right.
So I co-wrote this song for him, and it became a big song.
Wow.
One of his main songs. So they invited me for a few concerts, and then the concert started to also open me to the Indian society, Indian community. And one thing that I really noticed too was really the culture of India, that they were very traditional people, and that those traditions too reminded me of Africa. And when you go to India too, you see the image of India that you see, that is like light-skinned Indians and all that kind of stuff. That is like not really the true image. Indians are dark like us.
Okay.
There's a lot of even
black Indians.
No. There's nothing called black Indians.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When you go, they cry tuntum seeing. Almost even a whole area which is Africans, real Africans, just say ancient times, when we are part of India, and just said the diversity, the culture, the music, the food, the spirituality was something that was of great interest to me.
Okay.
Then I started doing concerts there, and then I was invited to do a tour there, and I traveled all around India. One of the last concerts we did was at a stadium, which was a huge sold-out show that I did with Ricky Cash, this artist that I collaborated with there, and then I also had the opportunity of traveling to Rajasthan, to see the old kingdoms and meet the Maharaja, and I played at actually his palace, did a concert at his palace, part of this incredible event called Jaipur Riff. And for me, it is also an aspect of seeing music too as a means for cross-cultural collaboration, and also engagement with other nationalities, and forging a way of bringing humanity together one step at a time by appreciation of culture, and then also bringing my perspective, my experience at the same time too, being able to take those experiences and then be able to bring it to back home and share with my people. So that was what drove me in India. But then the music led it, and we started playing a lot of concerts. Every concert that we did was just huge, blowout, great energy. It was focused on the environment, so India became a big, shall I say, connection to me. But then also in India too, you have issues too of ethnicity. Okay. You have problems with religion. There's a big divide between the Muslims and also the Hindus. And then there's also other, sects too that are dealing with the same problems that we also deal with. And they also have the issue too of the caste system.
Okay.
The caste system is that when you're born into a certain caste, you are that caste. So there's even some people, the untouchables. If you are born, that means you are going to be the ones, the street sweepers, the toilet cleaners, and all that kind of stuff. And so some people are born and then they're stuck in this caste, and they don't have any opportunity to rise above it. Yeah. But I think the modern days of education and all of that, if you're able to rise and have education, then you can be able to move maybe to another place and do that. But these were certain things that were part of the society that were already defined, was hard for people to break out of. So all this knowledge, when I wrote this song called Elevation, the song was about everybody. It's like the tide lifts everybody.
Right.
It's about a worldview that was, ingrained in a concept of inclusion, a concept of empathy, a concept of, trying to go where things are wrong and making it right, where people feel low and lifting them high. So India, with its diversity, its difference in sounds, its great food, spices, it just represented to me a great shall I say, visual tapestry of the world, the possibilities and the problems.
Good.
So this video, I tried as much as possible, and I also will thank, my friend Ricky Cash there, who exposed me to some of the most amazing filmmakers there to work with me, and so we filmed this with some of the best filmmakers, and it started from the video was filmed from a trip that I took from Bangalore to Goa, the coast.
Okay.
And so along every stage, we engage with different aspects of the society, different sounds, different sights. And in doing so, we were able to create a visual that was unique enough, ancient enough, inclusive enough, inspiring enough, and at the same time too, for a song that is steeped in Nyabinge traditional Rasta drums, but at the same time too a pop song too that everybody can sing together. I felt that India provided that perfect set to complement this video, and that's why I think that the song Elevation, the video, really got such mass acceptance, because I think that that my deep love for India came through through that video.
Why the name Rocky? Because me will take it na alum a true. Rocky Dawuni. You take it. Me change David. Why Rocky?
Well, it's David Rocky Dawuni.
The Rocky is your real name.
Rocky is my real name, but it was never put onto my documents.
Okay.
And the full name is David Rocky Nendo Dawuni.
Okay.
So even my household, like my mother, God bless her, she passed on recently, will call me Nendo.
Okay.
That's how they call me at home, Nendo,
Right.
And Rocky became my musical, really represented more of my musical part, Okay. So, I was like, okay, David, for me, David is a biblical name of a musician king.
Yeah.
Who started as a musician, but then God loved his music so much that God made him king of Israel. And most people forget that King David was first a musician.
Yeah.
And for me, that name represented to me the mission of who I am. But then Rocky is like the house that's built on a rock.
Very strong.
Very strong, no matter the weather, no matter the situation. Charlie, say what the fuck so it really represented that resilience and power.
You're doing Afro roots. What
Yes.
is Afro roots?
Afro roots is Obitia. Well, Afro roots for me is a musical style that really represents it's steeped in African rhythms, African musical styles, root music, but at the same time too, it also embraces global sounds. So people will say roots reggae, say Afro roots reggae.
Okay.
So for me, Afro roots, because my style also integrates elements of high life music, reggae, soul, and my whole thing is like my worldview.
Okay.
It's an all-inclusive thing, because I feel that music represents our engagement with the world and how we perceive the world, and I try to make sure that my music is truthful to who I am, and that's why Afro roots truly represents my style.
Okay, so on this note, on behalf of Pure FM, on behalf of HammerTime, I present to you the rock of Afro roots.
Oh, whoa!
So, if you're live on Facebook, I'm sure Rocky Dawuni as The Rock.
Oh, wow. This is...
You're live on Pure 95.7 on HammerTime. Oli.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
My brother, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And whoever did the artwork...
Enoch, one of my guys.
Oh, Enoch, you are really a genius. This is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Rocky.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Indeed, you are the Rock.
Yes. You know, and the Rock is also about Africa.
Yeah.
The rock is always the cornerstone. Mm. If you build a house on a rock, it endures through ages, through time, and it abides forever. You know, so for me, it's also trying to push that that energy, not only for myself, but also to everybody that I come into contact with, and also the new Africa that is emerging. Right. You know, it's an important time for not only Ghanaians, but also all of Africa, that we have an opportunity to really transform our continent. We have an opportunity to redefine the future of the world. But it starts with us as individuals making that change. And so I appreciate this. And I take this on behalf of all the people out there. You know, it's a beautiful time. Ghana forward, Africa forward, the world forward. Yes. Thank you, Hammer.
Now, you see, with your exposure, with your connections, you've been on big stage with international artists. Those who can, Diana King, Stevie Wonder, name them. I want us to discuss how to protect the right of musicians in terms of their works.
Yes. Yes.
No, Abranti friend Kaboom.
Yes.
If we say be our name papa ni, but I know say your mind settle down.
Yes.
We'll discuss the aspect of rights of musicians in terms of royalties and all. But you be
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Pure 95.7.
Yes.
Why this song has a high life, and why that particular song?
Well, I love that song that begins with. It's a song that I've always cherished, and just the bass line and the composition of this song really, really represented to me one of the most beautiful realization of our traditional high life music. And I have written, in terms of myself, there's been certain songs that I've written, but what happened with this song was that in Los Angeles there was a lot of jazz bands, and also a lot of bands that were playing Afrofusion. So I started noticing that so many of the events that I was going, all of a sudden they'll be playing, you hear a jazz band play the song. And as a proud Ghanaian, I'll stand up, I'll dance, I'll just like, wow, this song is just an incredible, and you hear the jazz interpretations of it. It's like, okay, this is beautiful. So one day when I was getting ready to prepare for my new album, I was approached by some folks who gifted me the opportunity to record in one of the most, shall I say, biggest studios in America, where every major artist has recorded. And this studio, one day it's like, your whole family budget will be gone if you go into it for one day. So they gifted me opportunity to record, and I was like, okay, when? They're like, okay, they gave me a time. I was like, okay, what do I do? I was just starting, and I had written Beats of Zion and some other tracks. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get the best musicians from Los Angeles, from all around the world, and we're going to record, start the project for my new album. But then I love this record too. I was just like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity to redo the song and record it, a high life song in this studio, to see how this sounds. So this is what inspired me. I recorded Beats of Zion, and then I recorded Chinchin Bie Di Mewu, and then I, connected with Sarkodie. I was like, re-recorded this high life song, and it's just really an incredible rendition. And it would be good to just put a modern spin on it. And then the record was sent to Sarkodie, and then Sarkodie put his also his verse on it. And it was a song that right now it's one of the most, even on the album, it's such a, really, really loved song on it, because what we did was that we just expanded the sound using, horn, trumpet players, musicians from Brazil, Argentina, Los Angeles, so it was kind of a cast of musicians from different parts of the world who were putting a spin and an interpretation on a musical form too that was purely Ghanaian, so it was a love of the song, and also the love too for, Alhaji K. Frimpong, and his music and his legacy. And I've been such a great, fan of his music for a long time. But it could have been an Ampedu song, it could have been anybody's song. But then this song caught my attention because all of a sudden I was seeing people too starting to appreciate that also in the world. So it really inspired me to do a rendition of that. Yes.
Okay, so let's enjoy the bit of the song again with the Sarkodie featuring on it. Chen Chen Bia Dimeu. This is Pure 95.7 on HammerTime. Okay, so Rocky,
yes,
the time now are very close, so we're almost through your new album.
Yes,
your new project you are doing, Beast of Zion.
Yes,
preparation to saying DNA or.
Oh, I mean, it's been, I've been working and pushing on it, and we're preparing right now even for a tour that is coming up in Europe. That is starting in June. Okay. I'm going to do another European run for the album. It's, when you put out an album, you just put out singles. So we're also preparing to put a new single for a song called Champion Arise from the album. But, it's just been an incredible album. It's got so much attention and so much focus, and I am very, very happy at how it really performed. Yes.
Rocky, Abrantino Rahano, Abrantian Pacho Bakakawai.
Hey, Abrantio.
Oh, now he's a CEO.
Oh, hello. How are you?
And different from the CEO you wanted to meet last night.
Yeah.
But if you see this man,
I see everything. If I see this one, I see everything. Oh,
so definitely things. You see, things.
Pleasure to meet you too. Yes.
And your man happy
Yes.
It's
the thing is the beauty of what we all do. We are in an industry where we need each other.
Yeah.
We need each other, and we work each other, and we complement each other.
Yeah.
We need, as artists, we need radio, and we need personalities like yourself with your audience and all of that to also help us communicate our music. As you also interface with us too for what we do, so that you can also be able to curate an experience too for your audience too. That will be incredible. So I think that interdependence of the industry makes it really beautiful when we get opportunity to meet even the people behind the scenes. That a lot of times make sure things happen, but they are the unsung heroes. As a musician, there's so many different people who are behind making things work before I even show up here.
Exactly.
I have Ilombini and everybody who are behind the scenes, who flew in last night with me here, who are making all these things happen, but nobody sees them, Yeah. But they are the true heroes, and I just want to really, show my appreciation for the people who are behind the scenes, but yet have the passion to make the work that we do become so effortless. Yes.
This track is one of the tracks that I love so much on the album Beast of Zion. It's a great song. The video is excellent. More I'm show your Facebook so more say Rocky aside for painting. Painting it show.
Charlie serious pa. Share.
The rock
nice.
Afro.
Yeah.
Roots.
Thank you so
you deserve it.
Thank
with
you.
With all the connections, with all the exposure. Rocky, you better and
Mr. Medasipa.
So you're doing Afro Waba. Playing so with in terms of free high.
Yes. And Mr. Pesa me catch omo muti phone say me pesa me bahan mo pa na be ye show han mo. Nti idea me dey too mo nim so pure. Mama ye make sure say happen so that we can bring the live experience, for Kumasi people to experience the power of that music, Ghanaian reggae, but yet you'll be bringing everybody together and at the same time celebrating our culture.
I know it will happen because see you number Haitians and Asumwa, young come find chain baby. Okay. I also heard that in Accra it's all about pure.
Yes. There's a woman maybe and I say, we are catchy. I don't know. Yeah, Elon was telling me yesterday there was, it's been trending in Accra too. So
and I learned the James and the Carter show, Slim and Sibo, all the guys are trending on Twitter. Well done, guys. You must see that's results here, and I say yes. And now Branty of Free Kenya or Beche Madiami Boni didn't say. I was so surprised. Me who be that say be a Beche on say. I'm not used to say Chichama dear, but
yes.
Me Bisa is like wow. Dr. Razak Jesse, aka Bingi, Medasi P. Now I'm on for 2 months and I'm saying yes, so YouTuber, I'll go type it HammerTime on Pure FM. Your artist will be I interview, I'll go YouTube, I'll be to me a tier interview, maybe wait to my interviews, Your never can see Nana Champon, Nana Finn, Nana Jiman, TikTok, Kwakese, Tiny, Samini, now you are on, Resuma,
yes,
a whole lot.
Yes.
Na Yadamasi, some of my pure, and so Konenim. Why would ye be ano? Can you next week? In your back was have became a friend of Edem. I be Edem. Next week, and a waha. You win so I go basement in your quiet part near Gianni. Now, a very, very important. Nina, I am the producer, Cosibo. Could you want for Omsday? Huh? Young boy. Rocky, hey,
share Park House, oh, nice one. Now, Cosibo me pe pa, Udini de serious pa. Hey,
Cosibo nana.
Na oya sansa unya say din sa.
Okay, you see you. Could you want for some money be man? Your friend the wickedest.
Oh, wickedest sound, yes.
With Stoneboy.
Okay.
Rastafarians or let's say reggae artists, they enjoy the divine herb, which Joseph Hills puts it.
Oh, say, asem with them, say me can one some any. That's a whole nother.
Almost more 2-3 lines.
Just say, I don't say. We share all around the world right now what is going on in terms of the medical for curing diseases all around the world. It's important for Zambia and all these countries right now jumped on board to do research in that direction. I feel that it's something that we need to look deeply into that as a means to cure, heal the pharmaceutical potential of it, shoring up our economy, and at the same time too being part of something that even the Queen of England, all the royal investment funds are putting money into it. So it's an opportunity for our country too,
Not just puff.
No. There's a bigger opportunity for it right now, and I think that we spend too much time worrying about the little things. Yeah, all the little things, and we have to look at the bigger picture of what it could mean for transformation, because it's something that is renewable resource that you can create. If we could create enough wealth using this, we wouldn't be selling our land and our water resources to other people who have the money to make sure that we use that money to develop ourselves rather than selling it. So for me, it's just the truth is out there and we just need to embrace the truth.
Rocky.
Yes, man. God bless you too.
Yes.
Yes.
We've had an exciting okay, sorry, so I tell you that's some kind of HammerTime. We'll join the same time next week for another exclusive